Off here. All right, guys. Welcome to Monday's Health Huddle. My name is Brad Miller. I'm one of the hosts of the call. And if you are new here, we first want to welcome you and congratulate you. We have an exciting actually call today that's going to be a little bit different because we're kind of starting a cool little series / personal challenge for all of us that we're going to do together that I'm going to be going over here tonight. And a really cool topic. But we are an odd bunch, a cool bunch, and we come together every Monday because health is something that you don't just get to put on autopilot. It's something that if you work at and come together and surround yourself in community and a lot of the things that we're going to be covering over the next few weeks, you notice it becomes easier and easier. So we pick Mondays, 5:30, circle up for about 20 minutes, go over some victories, go over a topic of health that really probably pertains to something that either is going to really benefit you where you're at or a habit or something you want to work on or something you never thought about. And it just every single week, it seems to put us all on the right foot going forward, thinking about things and, elevating our journey every single week because our journey is never done, like the laundry, like my dad always says. So first, an exciting thing. Actually, I'm going to go back real quick. All right, let's open it up. Who has just a couple exciting victories from this week? Non-scale, scale. Go ahead and unmute yourself and share anything that someone was excited about. We want to hear it. Who wants to go first? Usually people are like fighting over each other to go. Yeah, go for it.
I have a fantastic victory. As of today's weigh-in, I have gone from being obese to just overweight.
Oh my gosh, that's huge. And I know you're laughing about it, but that is a huge victory in that. How much have you lost total right now, Linda?
86 pounds.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. So kind of a cool little mark when you think about it. What's been the coolest thing that's changed for you along the way here so far?
Well, I don't get winded walking to the mailbox and back. I can actually do things. I can walk a couple of miles without any problem. My knees aren't hurting like they used to. And guess what? I've got a problem. I got to go buy new clothes. Oh, got to go shopping.
That's a good problem to have. Linda, seriously, congratulations. That is an awesome victory today. And I'll actually ask you for one more thing. If you could go back in time, since we have so many new people here on the line, and also if you could go back in time, what's one tip or one thing you would tell your just getting started self or tip you would give to someone that's getting like brand new here started on the line? Because you've come a long ways. You've done a lot with your health. What would you tell these newbies on the line or your newbie self?
Well, I would have started sooner, for one thing. But also, just take one day at a time. Because you can't say, oh, I've lost 3 pounds, only 100 to go. That doesn't work. Just have little baby steps along the way and take it one day at a time.
Oh, Linda, that's beautiful advice, and it really lines up with what we're talking about tonight. So well done. Congratulations on the victory. And let's see here. We'll open it up to one more person before I hop into tonight's topic. Good luck topping that one, though. Who wants to share? I think I saw Leanne. Was your hand raised? Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
There you are. Or someone's there. Who's there?
This is Rob.
Hey, Rob, go for it.
I just logged in, so I apologize I'm a little late.
All right, that's no problem here. I'll mute you. We were opening it up to some health victories here. Anyone else want to share tonight before we head into the topic?
No, sure.
Go for it. Oh, Jill, this will be this. This is possibly someone that can top it. Let's hear it. What's your victory this week?
Okay, Saturday night we took our boys to, a Christian concert. Toby Mac, woo! With 7 of their bands. My big thing was I going to fit in the seat comfortably? Because at these arenas, the seats are very narrow.
18 inches.
18 inches. I sat comfortably. I had space. I had room. It was wonderful. The first time I've gone to a place like that, and it's been okay.
That's a pretty amazing victory, Jill. That's so awesome.
It sounds really like, oh my gosh. But for somebody who's been overweight and who can sit in these seats normally and feel comfortable, is a big deal.
No, it's not small or anything like that. It's amazing. Really, I mean, when you think about it, that was part of your life. And really what that signifies is that's a freedom from a life that you never have to worry about ever again. You know, that's energy and time and thoughts that you were putting into something that shouldn't have been there. And you get to go there and just be yourself and not have to worry about those extra things, be comfortable. And I think that also happened around a time you get to celebrate a specific mark you just hit, if I'm correct.
Right. I'm a Wonderland person. I don't know how to say it, but
You hit the Wonderland mark. So, oh, that's awesome, Jill. That's good non-scale victory and a lot of things we want to focus on. So congrats for that. And it sounds like you got to have an amazing time with the family. All righty. I think that's a good way to go into this topic. And I always love doing that because it really sets the tone for the call and the victories and just good ways to set to look at your health, which is what we're going to be doing here. So let me kind of explain. If you're just tuning in, a lot of you already know what's going on here. But we always do these health huddles. Many of you guys already know that. Some of you guys, this is your first one. But for this one, it's a particularly special one. We're going to kick off a 6-week series on these health huddles and 6 weeks in general, focusing on all aspects of health. So this will be in a series. And basically, there's a few reasons why we're doing this. One, it's always good to challenge ourselves. If we're not moving forward or moving backwards, and we're always capable of doing more than what we think is possible. So it's fun to besides just every single day focusing on health, just basically say, all right, let's see what we can do to step up our game in this next 6 weeks. You know, pick a time period, which I'll get to later in this because the first topic is goal setting when you look at aspects of our health. Ashley and I were talking this morning kind of saying, all right, we want to do some cool things for our health this next season. What do we want to do? And just brainstorming about them was just fun because it just gives you a reason to step up your game on all aspects. So we do this from time to time because it's fun to just work on things for a season. So we're going to start our 6 weeks today. And so not only can you pick, a time period here and focus on different things you want to move forward in your health, a lot of people constantly ask me and my fellow health kick butters, like you guys know, have you totally changed your health? Like, how do you do these things? How has health become easier for you? How have you maintained your weight loss? How do you stay fit like this? How do you do X, Y, Z? And, it's a lot of things, but it's actually a lot of simple things. And a lot of those things are these 6 topics that we're going to really kind of cover for the next 6 weeks, which will, once you kind of work on them and have them become part of your routine, you're not going to be perfect at them right away. And heck, almost 6 or over 6 years later, I'm still working on them. But if you focus on these areas, it really just becomes so simple to keep moving forward in your health, as well as other areas of your health you might not have even focused on, with your health or thinking was a part of your journey. So first week is going to be about goal setting. We're going to do focus on healthy fueling, how it works in our body and some ways to make it easier and longevity of it, how to move, how your body moves, what it does for your body, good ways to approach it, some tips in that. Week 4 is going to be healthy community and just some thought processes and tips and ideas on that. Resting your body, kind of education on why that works and how it plays a role in your body so you can kind of understand and pick and choose because knowledge is power. And then lastly, healthy mind, because really the core root of just living a healthy lifestyle comes a healthy mind, kind of like Jill was talking about there. Like, there's so many aspects of it, but, just think about that was extra wasted energy on a topic that didn't need to be there. And as well as so many other beautiful aspects of the journey that's probably come with that culminating point right there. So we're going to just spend some time talking about all those 6 things. And so it's going to be focusing on 6 weeks on making a shift to another level in your health. Because another reason for this, as well as what we were just talking about and how a lot of people ask us all these questions about these things and want to know what really takes to, make a healthy shift lifestyle is, you're probably coming to a point, and if you haven't come to this point yet, you're probably coming close to a time where it's time to make a shift in your overall, how you approach your health. Some people, I know this was me, is I started getting healthy and I was losing weight and I was still kind of relying and playing around with some of the things that, really had set me back in my health early on. And there came a point where I needed to make a shift in order so I wouldn't fall victim to those things that were putting me in the place I didn't want to be at the very beginning or where I was when I got started. So came up to a point where I needed to make a shift. So you guys might be in that season where you're like, you know what, I've been kind of playing with fire too much. Maybe I need to sweep out the pantry. Maybe I need to, kind of rearrange some things in the schedule. Maybe I need to just, basically just step into the fact that I am a healthy person. Now, it doesn't really matter what the shift is you can ask yourself what it is and maybe focus on that for this next season. But I'm guaranteeing either all of you are maybe at a spot where you're ready to shift and encourage yourself to go to the next level, or you probably have one coming because you can't move forward in your life without some shifts probably taking place at any given time. So what we're also going to do over these 6 weeks is this is how you can join us. And we have a few different ways so everyone can partake. Is one, just you're here tonight. Set some goals with us. Stay the course like normal. Stay connected with your health coach. Just have some fun and play around with this series and that we're doing, and tune in and just have some fun with it. So that would be number one. Number two would be tuning into these health huddles each week, learning, kind of thinking about it, discussing it with your health coach, that, letting them know what you got out of it, or just having dialogue on the Facebook support page, which also leads me to number three would be is tell your health coach your goals, what you want to accomplish for these 6 weeks. Post it in the Facebook support pages. All of you guys are probably in a client support page, and if you're not, I highly recommend participating in that. Post in there. I know many of you guys are actually tracking this in there, and they have a spot where you can post what your goals are for the 6 weeks. Some of you guys are even having kind of like a prize scenario going on inside those Facebook pages, so highly recommend doing that. And then lastly, if you guys have done the Meltdown Challenge before or want to know what it is, it's basically an online game that's going to coincide with these 6 weeks. You can pitch in $23. It's an online game. You get points for just doing a lot of the basics, like being on this health huddle. And if you hit your goal and get enough points, you split the pot. So these are all the different ways you can tune in, connect with your health coach if you want to know a little bit more information. But many of you guys have already locked and loaded your goals and are ready to go on here. But either way you join us, decide on what you want to focus on here for these next 6 weeks. And I hope you guys have a pen and paper, because I'm going to basically take you through an exercise at the very end here as we kind of go through this here. So here's what to do today. And this is just kind of an intro to how I'm going to guide you guys through to some goal setting here shortly. Is remember how far you come. This is a really big, serious topic when setting goals. Is many of us forget to think about how far we've come. We always just we sell ourselves short. We focus on where we're not, and don't give ourselves enough credit for where we've come so far. And that's vitally important, because if you don't remember how far you've come, you'll always be dissatisfied with where you're at. So that's just where I always start, where I'm at in any goal that I do. Number two would be, where would you like to be in 6 weeks? And I'll get to this a little bit later. And then number three would be, what do you want to make a big shift towards in this next season in regards to your health, life, routine, anything that you really want to cover? And then the bonus aspect of this season would be to have an open mind, because as we go through some of these topics, you might realize that health is a lot different than how you thought it was. Because for me, when I started, I thought it was dieting and how you lost weight and getting in the gym every so often. And man, was I surprised as I started taking my steps in my journey that health is so many things, and I won't even get into them tonight because it really involves every area of our life. So making a shift in our optimal health journey this season, we're going to focus on week number 1, which is the best place to get started when you start anything, which is learning how to set goals. And honestly, I'm going to be turning it over to Dawn Chow here in a second to kind of give you some example of what she's learned in this and what she's going to be focusing on this season. But the number one thing I've learned in myself and by watching others is a lot of people, this is a place where they actually miss the boat quite a bit, because if you don't, I'm actually going to go over these things here shortly, is many of you guys saw the slides that I put up last week, and just a bunch of different funny slides that, shifts needs to happen. And, that one at the top left corner where it's like what people think success looks like, and people that are actually out there achieving it knows that it really looks like that squiggly line. And knowing that you can't chase 2 rabbits because you'll lose them both. You can't, like for instance, if we're going to the season, you can't stay a hold of the person that you used to be and maybe a lot of the habits and routines you had before. You don't have to totally transform your life in 1 week, but you can't be the person you once were and be the person that you're becoming. There's just no way to do it. And just, a lot of people will say, well, I want to do this and I also want to do that. And they're counterproductive. So just remembering that to be laser focused on what it is you want. And, magic happens, that bottom right-hand corner outside of your comfort zone is where a lot of the best things happen. And over the season and this next shift, that there might be a little bit of outside your comfort zone. Not horrible, but you'll start to maybe learn that that's a habit of health that you really like, is being outside your comfort zone. I know that I've learned that if I am in my comfort zone, life gets kind of boring, and it's good to always pick new things. So maybe that's something you'll learn during the season. And then just another one is old habits die hard, and you can't replace you can't just get rid of a bad habit. You have to replace any bad habits that you no longer want to have with good habits. And it takes over 30 days to build new habits. So again, these are all just different things to be thinking about as we go into the season. But most of all is insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And I really love this one because it just reminds us to constantly be shifting on our feet and be thinking about things. So to be an optimal health goal setter, this is some of the things to be thinking about that I'm going to go over here. Is if you set yourself up for success, and that really involves goal setting and the structure you do to support it, is anything is possible. But also to the same effect on another thought, you might have heard this, is if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. And that's something that's really helped me along the way, because I've always wanted to really shortcut my goals. Oh, I'll get to that. And my wife's always bared with me, because she'll ask me how I'm going to go about doing things. And I'm like, I'll figure it out. She's like, no, why don't you just try to figure it out ahead of time and make your life a lot easier? And she's bared with me through all that pain. I've learned that that's the best way to approach things. So with that same token, with setting goals, where is it that you want to be over this next little bit? Because if you set, I'm going to go into kind of some of the things that help you set these goals, it'll really make it easier. And there's one other thing that I wanted to bring in before I even get to that main point, is that basically not knowing your goals and not really thinking longevity-wise is actually what we call a diet sense mentality. So these little slides here are from Dr. A's Habits of Health. And basically what he's talking about is a diet mentality. And this is the reason why if you the regular stats show that if you are even successful in losing weight, let alone other areas of your health journey, let's just focus on weight loss. Even if you're successful in that, 85% of people gain their weight back and then some within 2 years, because this left-hand side here is how they approach it. Is, we have an intense emotional reaction, and then we desire to do something about it because it's so darn bad we can't stand it anymore. So we take some action, and we're just trying to get away from something that didn't feel good. And what happens as we get far away from that feeling that was driving us? Well, we have no more motivation. We don't know what we want. We just know that we didn't want to feel bad anymore, or that we didn't have any pants to wear, or we were out of breath when we were walking, and that didn't feel very good. So when we start to, when we start to alleviate a little bit of that, well, then there's not as much focus and motivation. And what happens is we have a less emotional conflict. And so we start going back to where we were before, because we didn't properly set goals in the first place. So this totally blew my mind when I first heard about it. I was like, oh my gosh, I mostly set goals out of what I want to not be, or what I don't want to be, or something that's bothering me. And really setting goals is figuring out where you want to be and knowing that you're always going to be setting new goals. And this is kind of another slide here that really helps out with it, is just looking at saying what we think health looks like. And we think it's like getting to a goal weight, or, working out or whatever it may be, just, getting to a one set thing. Well, really what it looks like is, you're either moving forward or you're moving backwards, and just really enjoying the journey along the way, because you can't just get to a stationary point in your health. You're either moving forward or you're moving backwards. There is no standstill. So just kind of thinking about it like that. And as I kind of wrap up here today and get ready to, take you through a quick exercise and turn it over to Don, this is the way to really look at setting up goals, is, making SMART goals. Are they specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based? So if you can apply all those attributes to a goal, then you have a goal. And it's just a really good way of thinking here. So if you guys do have that paper, go through this with me real quick here, and you can expand on it after we're done with this call. But number one, write this down here. How far have you improved in your health? Like for Jill, she reached Wonderland, and there's a bunch of things that go along with that. For Linda, you're down 86 pounds, and you're no longer in the obese category. That's how far you've come. That's amazing. That's the best way to start with setting goals. Number two, where would you like to be in these 6 weeks? I mean, we're just practicing it for these 6 weeks, but this will come into play in every area of your life and down the road in your health journey. But is it time? What's the, time frames? Obviously 6 weeks, specific, relevant, attainable, measurable. What will you feel like when you get there? What's important to you about that goal and others around you for it? And back to the measurable and attainable part, and relevant and specific. How do you know if you? Basically a good way to ask yourself that is, how do you know you're accomplishing that? A lot of people will set goals, and I used to do this by a feeling. I just want to feel better. Well, how do I know if I'm feeling better? How do I gauge that? How do I know if I'm doing those things? So just setting up different standards so you know that you're making progress along the way. And then number five, going back to number five, what will you focus on shifting for this next season to assist you not only during these 6 weeks, but long term? Because if you're going to do anything, make sure it's something that you can do long term and with longevity. And then number six would be, have you written this down, and have you put reminders in your life to remind you? Like, on your car dash, when you get in the car dash, I put things on the back of my phone. I put timers and reminders and things in my schedule like that. And I tell my wife constantly, which is our last tip there, is who are you going to tell to gain support on this, so that you know that you are accountable to people, and not in a, hey, they're going to like call you out if you're off, but just by telling people, you increase your chances of hitting your goals almost 50%, just because you've actually put it out there and you're telling other people and you're actually making it more real. Because all the things that I encourage you guys to probably write down are going to become a little bit more real to you. So that's just a practice for this week. I'll get this slide and maybe share it with some of the groups so you guys can review it. But before we get done here, I'm actually going to turn it over to Don Chow, who is really good at this stuff, and maybe just share some of your last thoughts on this, Don, as we wrap up, and maybe what you're focusing on for this last season to give people a tip on this. Are you there?
Yeah, absolutely, Brad. Thanks. And actually, I'll go ahead and make it really real and share a couple slides, because what I thought was I would just share with you all what my commitment is over this next 6 weeks, because, you know, Brad, you're so right. Health is a journey, and my journey it began 6 years ago when I lost 45 pounds. And over the last 6 years, I've been cheering people on, and a lot has happened in life. And so I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen here so you guys can kind of see. Something that's really important to me is, you know, as we're heading into this next 6 weeks, let's not count the days. Let's really make the days count. And this is a picture of me. It happens to be what I have. Brad, you're talking about setting reminders. I set it as a screensaver on my cell phone, because this is my commitment to myself over the next 6 weeks, that I'm going to really get back into my groove, because we all have a groove, and each season of our lives, that groove can change. So this is what I shared in our client support page, and our kickoff for this 6-week challenge is that, you know, I did, you know, celebrating how far I've come, because 6 years ago, wow, I lost 45 pounds, was able to have a healthy pregnancy, used our nursing mom's plan, dropped even more weight after having her. So I was at a healthier weight after having my little one than I was going into that pregnancy. And that's pretty cool. Today I had a huge celebration. I went to the DMV and I got to update my driver's license for the first time since 2009. And you guys, I was 40 pounds less than what I said I was on that driver's license in 2009. I don't know how often that happens, but I did a little happy dance on my way out of the DMV, and, you know, it's just awesome. So this is an example of SMART goals that I set. You know, I'm starting at 132. Now, for me, that's a healthy weight, but it's not really ideally where I'd like to be in my health, right? It's a journey. So I want to take it to that next level. I'm going to, over the next 6 weeks, shoot to really dial in my nutrition. I'm going back on our awesome weight loss nutrition plan. I want to lose 5 to 6 pounds, and I want to increase my muscle mass. So those are specific, tangible things that I can do, I can measure, and I'm also going to increase my flexibility. So the other things I'm going to do is really build on my habits of fueling 6 times a day. I do that great already, but I'm going to switch it up so that I can actually reach those goals that I said in that first statement there. And I'm going to work on getting 8 hours of sleep, because I know that if I don't have that solid 8 hours of sleep, I'm probably not going to reach my goals, because I'm going to be tired, I'm going to be more hungry, and I'm going to be less likely to actually get up and go do the things in the morning that are going to set me up for my perfect days, right? In fact, perfect's not really a word we use, but really setting me up for those ideal days. So those are my goals. And I just, you know, I'm putting it out there. Brad, you're my health coach, so I'm telling you, thumbs up. But these, you know, really getting back into the basics of our nutrition, our fueling, you guys, community and support is so key. So just the fact that you're tuning into this huddle, you're tuning into the support pages, and maybe you're joining in our online challenge, I mean, that is huge. And really, I just challenge you, get into your groove, whatever your groove is for this next season. Detail it out, dive all in, and, you know, set reminders, find an image, put that as a screenshot, you know, on your cell phone, backed up on your computer. And the other thing I can say is make the decision to get excited about your goals. Okay, sometimes goals make us uncomfortable, but that's a good thing. Make your goals fun. If they're a little uncomfortable, that's great, but make the decision to get excited about them, and then just make the commitment to be consistent over the next 6 weeks, because we can do anything if we do it together. So thanks, Brad.
Yes. Don, so good. I love all the things you shared there. Such a great example. And one specific thing that I left out that you hit on, make sure your goals are fun. Like when you're done doing them and you're looking at them and you're really thinking about where you're going to be when you accomplish them. I mean, maybe you might have a little bit of like butterflies in your stomach because you're kind of scared, and that might be a good thing, but you should be excited about what you write down and where you're going to be. And that's probably the pretty bow way to put the pretty bow you can put on setting goals is that's how you should feel when you're all done. It should be a little bit scary, but you should be excited about them. So that's what we're going to turn it over to you guys this week. That's the question for you guys this week is, what are you guys going to set for your goals? What are you learning about what it feels like when you really line them up and put them into that account and do a lot of those steps here. So have some fun goal setting this week. I look forward to seeing them on the walls. I've already seen a ton of you guys post pictures and say exactly what those things are. And as we get going this week, look forward to, celebrating these victories. So write them down right where you start. So in 6 weeks, we can look back because that is how we're going to wrap up and say, how far have you come in this 6 weeks and how much of the shift have you made and what have you accomplished in regards to what you wrote down and what you wanted to accomplish on. We're going to learn a lot of things over this next little bit, but hopefully, and I know we will because I know all the victories we celebrate on a daily basis is we're going to be celebrating a lot of success over these next 6 weeks. So have some fun, guys. Enjoy maybe practicing this a little bit more if this is all new to you, and tell your health coach exactly what your goals are and post them out loud so you can see where you want to be and apply some of those tips that you may have heard from Dawn earlier. So with that being said, let's go take on an amazing week. 6 weeks starts today. Let's get this whole week will help us get all set up to go, and we'll move it right into a next week and our next topic and celebrating the victories from this first week next Monday. So with that being said, have a great week, everybody.
Thanks, Brad.
Great job, Dawn.